welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. And Cadril, as I do have you here now on the couch, I think I have to ask a very important question. Damwon Kia, massively victorious. We're going to have a lot of opportunities to sing their praises, but I got to know, my friend, how are you feeling in this moment? EU, gone, nothing?
EU's gone?
Left?
Wait,
did you fall asleep during the last?
Wait, I thought they only played one game so far. Are we out?
That wasn't a replay. That was 3 back-to-back. Okay, let's Chronicle. Chronicle, you're here, so I think it's probably good for you to to recap exactly what happened, because that was obliteration.
Yeah, that's Damwon Kia. Maybe now people understand a little bit better what has happened in LCK over the last year, right? This team is just on another level. I think that even in this game, right, Matt fought very valiantly, but the problem with, already in the entire series, the problem with Damwon Kia is that you can just never give them an opening. And the second series is the best example of that, where any opening you give them, they will just win, right? Like Showmaker, Canyon, Khan, and even in the final game, right, Barrel popping off, like, one of the players is just going to run circles around you if you don't shut them out completely and never give them an opening back, and I don't know anyone who can reliably do that.
Yeah, and of course I wasn't in Bedge, guys. I saw the whole series, of course, and I have to say, Damwon, the games were close. Game 2 and 3 especially were close. More so game 2, game 3 was almost like they were 10k up and then some bad fights, right? Damwon just looked so dominant in when they're behind and when they're ahead, right? I have to say, especially in that game 3, massive props to Barrel. That Pike, so many small like mechanical plays he did, like ulting onto Kaiser to hit the blast cone, Eing, and he did so many cool Pike plays, I have to say. And Canyon got Lee Sin 3 games in a row and he looked phenomenal.
Absolutely did. And I think it's good that you bring up that matchup, because while it was dominant from start to finish, the matchup that we put our eyes on at the start of the day was the jungle matchup, and the Mercedes featured matchup. Of course, we were looking at Elyoya versus Canyon. While Elyoya certainly did have some moments, the Jarvan game, hard camping top, Canyon across the board was so consistently a monster in this series, Chronicler. Yeah. I don't think we can give this man Lee Sin.
No, I don't think you should. I don't have a lot more to say on the matter, but this is the issue that lies at the heart of Damwon. I can guarantee you that there's multiple other champions where if you give them over, the same thing happens. Well, if you don't ban TF, then Showmaker gets that, right? Like, you're always going to give someone to Damwon where it feels like they shouldn't be able to get it. But what separates Canyon from a lot of other junglers, in my opinion, and something that we've seen Damwon do, for example, against FPX as well, is that unlike a lot of other teams, the plays that they go for just work, if that makes sense. Like, they still make mistakes, but I think Canyon in particular is a really good example of that, where if he goes for a big play on the Lee Sin, it never fails. Like, it always works. And that in itself is a really good indicator of his ability to, no matter the game state, identify where the enemy weaknesses lie, and then try to find the one play that can still guarantee you the victory.
Yeah, and I think that when you look at Damwon's draft, there's just so many enablers, right? You give Canyon Lee Sin, you set up for a great top side with Kennen or Syndra, whatever you want. You give Khan Jace, you can set up for a Jace draft and play an AP jungler if you want. You give Showmaker TF, then you just unlock every AD jungler in the game because you already have set up. I think that moving forwards against T1 especially, these champs need to be looked at in draft. But still, there's just so many combos that it's just hard to shut down these players in draft because all of them are just so flexible.
The reality is, we could pick literally any Damwon player from today. It was domination from start to finish, but we had to pick one. So for our Oppo player of the game, it is none other than Canyon. And I think, again, highlighted so well, he has a champion where he has the agency, where he has the potential to make some of these incredible individual highlight plays. And I mean, looking back at it now, such a again, showing of dominance.
And this is something that I think Canyon hasn't shown all year, right? As MSI form, as mentioned previously, didn't really adapt to the meta as well. Wasn't enabled to have the same impact that he has had not only in this tournament, but also the second half of the LCK. And what makes Canyon so incredible to me is the fact that outside of how well he does in the role that he currently has, he swapped to mid during the role swap, right? Where Damwon tried some different things out, and he was still one of the best mid laners, like in the LCK. And obviously, his knowledge of his wave control, his knowledge of matchups wasn't amazing, but he was still able to go toe-to-toe with a region that is absolutely stacked in terms of mid lane talent. And it's not so much about the individual mechanical skill that this player has.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many factors you can attribute to being the best jungler in the world, who I think Canyon is. Connor hit on it there. It's like he can play a solo laner. Even in solo queue, he plays top lane a lot. He can play mid lane. Mechanics are there. He understands lane matchups, and he's always at the right place at the right time. He's just so flexible, and that's why I think Canyon is, yeah, probably the best strong in the world.
Congrats to Canyon, of course. But one player that we had our eye on at the start of the day was Khan, and I'm excited to hear what he has to say about that series. He's standing by with Shocks now.
Thank you very much, Dracos. I'm here with Khan after Damwon Kia make it to the semifinals in a very impressive series. Congratulations, Khan. A great performance of Damwon overall, but I'd love to ask about that second game. I did see on the Korean broadcast in the mic check that you were a little bit insecure maybe going into the game, but tell me how you were able to fight back in game 2 so convincingly.
네, 우선은 승리 너무너무 축하드립니다. 우선 가장 먼저 여쭤보고 싶은 게 이 세트 이제 오디오가 보이스가 나왔는데 그때 싸했다 분위기 느낌이 싸했다라고 언급하신 부분이 있었어요. 대충 어떤 내용이었는지 그리고 또 어떻게 역습을 할 수 있었나요?
이게 뱀픽이 짜여졌을 때 이제 어디 쪽이 예민하고 어디 쪽이 이제 밸런스가 잘 잡히고 이런 쪽의 내용을 얘기하다가 뭔가 상대가 공략하기 쉬운 라인이 저인 것 같은 거예요. 그래서 살짝 싸한데라고 얘기를 했는데 제가 그 싸한 거를 인지를 하고 들어갔음에도 불구하고 인게임 내에서 실수가 나와서 좀 많이 아쉽습니다.
So yeah, after the pick and ban was done, I looked at our draft and the opponent's draft, and I was trying to find out where was the weak link of our comp and where the opponent can capitalize on. And I knew that it was going to be me, the top lane. But even if I knew that, I actually wasn't able to execute plays correctly, so I was a little bit bummed because of that.
But still pulled it back and very, very impressively. And I know the whole world is kind of looking at you, Khan, in your dream to win the World Championship, because we know, unfortunately, this may be your last Worlds. But with the way that Damwon has been performing so far, undefeated, and the way you have been performing as well, how close do you think you are to your dream of finally winning the World Championship?
그래서 정말 전 세계 팬분들이 칸 선수의 오랜 염원이 달성되기를 지금 지켜보고 계시고 칸 선수가 아무래도 이게 마지막 월즈가 될 가능성이 매우 높기 때문에 많이 응원을 보내주고 계십니다. 지금 담원 기아의 경기력도 엄청나고 전승을 달리고 있고 그중에 칸 선수의 경기력도 매우 눈이 부신데 본인이 생각하시기에 그 오랜 목표에 달성하기까지 얼마나 가까워졌다고 생각하시나요?
뭐 얘기 드리자면은 이제 만약에 저희가 한 번도 안 진다고 가정을 했을 때는 이제 6판 이제 그 뭐 플러스 알파 이제 뭐 한 3-4판이 더 추가되겠죠. 이제 거기에 이제 그 선에서 끝날 거라고 생각하니까 뭔가 좀 감회가 새롭네요. 뭔가 시원섭섭하기도 하고.
Yeah, so you know, it's gonna be 6 games or maybe additional 3 or 4 games left in order to reach the goal that I have set for such a long time. So yeah, I'm feeling a bit emotional that it's finally coming to the end.
Yes, and we're so much looking forward to those games as well, especially that next one, the match versus T1, who you have history with as well. And I'm hearing, I just spoke to Kaiser, he said that he thinks that T1 and you are both the strongest teams left in the tournament. It must be a very special occasion as well. How much are you looking forward to that match versus T1?
네, 그리고 또 정말 T1전이 지금 앞두고 있는데 아무래도 T1과 연이 있기도 했고 방금 전 카이저 선수 인터뷰에서도 지금 담원기아와 T1이 제일 강한 팀인 것 같다라고 언급을 했는데 어떻게 좀 바라보고 계신가요?
T1 같은 경우에는 이제 LCK에서도 많이 만나기도 했고 이제 경기도 많이 지켜본 결과로는 확실히 굉장히 잘하는 팀이기도 하고 이제 팀 3라인 자체가 다 라인전을 빡빡하게 공격적으로 하더라고요. 그래서 매드전과는 달리 경기 양상이 더 치열할 것 같아요. 아무래도 1대1 그런 구도에서 되게 빡세게 할 그런 느낌이라서 그럴 것 같고 이제 그거에 맞춰서는 저희가 잘 준비를 하고 가야 될 것 같아요.
So yeah, we've faced against them many times in the LCK. I watched them play at Worlds a lot of times, and I'm pretty sure they are very, very strong. And also, unlike this kind of this series against Mad Lions, I think it's gonna be a little bit different in terms of how the game will kind of go on, because I think the 1v1 will be a lot more intense. The laning phase will be a lot stronger between two teams. So it's going to be a lot more closer between us and T1. So I think we have to adapt to that kind of a new kind of play style of two teams and prepare for it.
Very exciting matchup ahead. Quickly, I know I'm over time, but I'd love to hear your prediction for Gen.G versus Cloud9 tomorrow. It is our last quarterfinal, and I know you know Gen.G very well. Who's going to win it?
마지막으로 이제 마지막 다음 8강전이 있잖아요. C9 대 젠지전 어떻게 예상하시는지 궁금하네요.
그래도 LCK 세 팀이 다 높은 고지에 올라가서 이제 거기서 좋은 결과를 남기는 게 LCK 이제 이후로도 되게 좋은 내용이 될 것 같고 경쟁력 있는 그런 리그라는 걸 다른 리그한테 알려줄 수 있는 기회이다 보니까 젠지 쪽이 이기길 좀 더 바라고 있어요.
예상은
젠지가 이기지 않을까요, 그래도?
So first off, I hope Gen.G wins because it's going to mean that 3 of the LCK teams are reaching really high at an international event. And this is a proof that showing our region is very competitive is a very promising sign for us. And also, I think Gen.G will win.
Okay, thank you very much, 감사합니다. Congratulations. Thank you, Ji-sun, as well. As always, and back to you, Dracos.
Thank you so much, Shox, for that fantastic interview. Always good to hear from Khan. And again, I think Khan, really the biggest story. Damwon, of course, is an organization, an entire 5-man lineup. Always incredible to see them continue to be successful. But when a player is playing, you know, the final split of their career, the final tournament of their career, and they're able to show up so impressively, especially when MSI wasn't, you know, the biggest standout, most fantastic performance, is a story we're probably going to be talking about for years.
And I think another kind of asset to that story to make it just so beautiful is the fact that he's playing a semifinals against T1. You know, 2 years ago, he was playing for T1 in the semifinals against G2. Now he has to knock T1 out of the semis to make the final himself. I just think the stars are slowly aligning for Khan, I feel like.
It's also Khan in that interview isn't Khan like we've seen him all year in the LCK, because you gotta understand Khan in LCK interviews has been the biggest troll, showing up with like Pepe masks and like he's like trash talking everyone. But in an interview, you can really see how much it means to him and really how focused he is on achieving this goal. And it's really poignant considering how not serious he is generally to see him really beat that into focus, basically. I
love it. I wouldn't have minded a troll mask here, even here. I feel like sometimes you just got to lighten the mood, especially because, like, as EU pundits, it's been a hard day. We've lost all of our teams. But again, we'll get to say goodbye to Mad Lions later. For now, I want to look ahead. The West, the final hope of the West versus Gen.G. Cloud9, can they do it? Perks, we're now pretending that you've been in EU all year as we hold on to hope as EU pundits. But obviously, Cloud9, the last hope of the LCS versus Gen.G, a team that did look pretty solid, all things considered. What's your read on this one, Kadril?
Well, the hope of the West rests on Perk's shoulders once again, doesn't it? I actually think Cloud9 will win that series. I think it'll be very close. Maybe 3-2 to Cloud9 is what I'd say, but Gen.G have always looked kind of weak in best of fives domestically and internationally. And I think Perks is, if there's anyone who can pull off a win in this best of five, it's Perks on Cloud9.
Chronicler, what's your read on this particular best of five?
I agree with Kadril, it'll be close. I do think it's going to be Gen.G that wins. I think individually, BDD in particular has had an insane tournament thus far. He's been a standout mid in a tournament that has kind of been full of them. And I think that a C9 that doesn't really get to play around Perks, because I do think he is the big clutch factor for that team and what enables them to get victories, even though, you know, disregarding game state. However, I do think it will be close, as Kadril pointed out, and he is very right about that. Gen.G have been known to falter at times in high-stakes situations or in best-of-fives, but I think individually they are still a cut above C9, and I think that in the end will net them the win.
Yeah, and I think it being close is what everyone expects. However, if it's just a stomp from either side, that's actually a good sign for the winning team, of course, because then you have to face up against EDG, who is a world championship contender. I think everyone kind of agrees that despite who wins C9 Gen.G, EDG should make it out. But if Gen.G or C9 can show a good showing and have improved a lot, you know, and they really are feeling it, I think maybe there's a chance they can take that semifinal. But again, they're up against a powerhouse in EDG, and even if they get further, they're against T1 or Damwon, right?
And certainly a lot of pressure to know that you have to win this best of five, and then you are the heavy underdog no matter who you are who makes it through going into that next series.
And then
again, going into potentially into the finals versus T1 or Damwon Kia. A lot is going to be happening here in the next day. Our final quarterfinal sits ahead of us again. Final goodbyes to the LEC, to Mad Lions, Fnatic, and Rogue. It was a well-fought effort. We'll see if we'll have to do the same thing tomorrow for Cloud9. But for the NA fans out there, I hope that we don't. That's going to be it for us today. But of course, we're going to be back tomorrow for C9 versus Gen.G, starting at 1:30 p.m. Central European Summer Time, 4:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
It says wave.
Last hope of Europe face a monumental task in today's quarterfinal, taking down the reigning world champions and favorites to win it back-to-back, Damwon Kia.
The reigning world champions looking in peak form.
So we'll see if Mad Lions can push the LCK champions to the limit once again.
incredible predictions from Beryl. That's the reason he's one of the best in the world. Mad Lions smite it away. Beryl going in with the quickness. There's a charm for the time. And the combo's just too darn deadly. Elioya is down, bereft of life. He rests in peace. TP behind Humanoid, he tries to flash away, but the Emperor's Survive will catch him. Showmaker pops the stopwatch to stop the shockwave, but the bullet time will still rip him to shreds. Khan has flash, slices and dices up the Mad Lions, and they did not respect Khan. Damwon Kia cleaned the Lions off the map.
Wow, an insane comeback from Damwon.
Once more into the breach for Mad Lions and Damwon Kia. Look for the fight. Damwon continued to push forward. Showmaker forced away.
It's Chase though.
Kicked away, and here comes Khan! And what a better way to find the picks than with a flank TP. For the flank run-in, from Khan. Bullet time used as well. Armor pushed up, forced off to the top side.
It all leads to this. Make or break.
Vitality will take them!
A new era is waiting. Make it yours.